We'll now open the Revere License Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of April 20th, 2016. Is there a motion on the table to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thanks. Item number one is Black Marble Motorcycles, LLC, doing business as Boston Harley-Davidson.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, please state your name and address for the record, please.
William Peary, 122 Harrison Ave, Newburgh, Mass.
Great, Mr. Perry. And you're making an application for 8 special one-day licenses?
It was 8 originally. We're going to come to next month's city council meeting and go forward with the other ones. We just wanted to take care of 4 of them for now.
4.
Because we're not sure the details of those events or if we were going to or not yet, so.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do at these one-day events?
Yep, we're going to be having a Memorial Day weekend barbecue. So we're going to be having barbecue and beers and music and games and stuff like that in the parking lot for our customers to come by. Also, the other one is going to be a stunt show. So we will have a Harley-Davidson professional stunt team coming and performing stunts in our parking lot, gated off with your police barricades. And much like the grand opening for last year, just a little bit smaller, a lot smaller of an event than that, of course. And we'll also have a beer garden as well, a roped off area. I provided the map, parking lot map of the area that we'll have for the beer garden.
So tell me a little bit about the stunts that they're performing, and then also what type of time frame do you need in order to book an event like that to secure like the riders?
As in certificate of insurance?
No, not certificate of insurance, but if you were to approach this professional riding team, how far in advance would you have to book them in order to secure them for your event?
So for Unknown Industries last year for the grand opening, we reached out to them November, December, so of the year before. We reached out with them and we were working with them all winter long. Really just you want to get these teams in the winter time when they're doing their booking for the summers, because all their events are booked up in the summers. For this team here, it was a little bit easier. They're an East Coast Harley stunt team, so we didn't have to worry about getting airline tickets and stuff like that and crossing the country where the other guys were from California. So this was probably in January, February when we started playing with these guys here.
Okay. And how long do you anticipate that show to last?
That's a one-day show. Unlike last year, it was 3 years. This is just a one-day. There's a show at 11, 1, and 3 p.m. They're 20 minutes to 30-minute long shows in intervals, leaving intermissions in between for people to, go back inside and shop or eat food or stuff like that.
And it's going to be in a protected area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly like last year with the police barricades.
Okay. And the first event, the Memorial Day event, what do you anticipate at that event?
Probably not too many people, where we know it's obviously Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people go away that weekend, but we still want to offer something for our customers that ride and always love coming out to hang out. For people that stay home in the area, they can come out and listen to music and and just hang out, have a barbecue in the parking lot, basically games and stuff like that, where they can win gift cards and prizes and stuff.
So the first one's Saturday, May 28th. The second one is a week later, 6/4?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next two are, looks like it's Thursday and Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah. The Thursday night, that's our rodeo bike night. So basically similar to our bike nights that we had last year. People come out and we have different themes. This one is a rodeo, so we have different motorcycle challenges that they can do.
Okay. And then the last one is what? On a Saturday?
And that's the Models and Mayhem event, so that's the stunt show.
Oh, that's the stunt show?
Yeah.
The one in June?
Yep.
Okay,
So the one June 25th, that's the stunt show.
gotcha.
The June 23rd is the bike night. And then the other two are the,
And you've already secured this team
yeah,
for this year?
yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
On the beer and wine, what kind of concessions are going to be set up, and who will be running those? I know last year, I did go to the opening, and it was very nice. It was well-planned and seemed very secure, but you brought in vendors. Are you bringing in vendors?
Yeah, as in like just motorcycle-related vendors and stuff like that, like the Patch Lady, and is that what you mean?
Well, you had a beer and wine set up, but I don't think you did it. Who was running the beer and wine?
That was Peter DePisa from the Squire.
That was the Squire.
Yeah, this year we're not going to be using the Squire this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what other concessions will you have?
We're going to have food truck, a few different food trucks. Inside the beer garden, we're going to have a tent where people can come up and purchase the beer in the tent. At tables, wristbands, IDs, checkpoints at the front and rear. On that map, it shows 2 entrances and exits just to make it easier for the crowds to get out of that blocked off area if they need to. So we'll have ID checkpoints at that spot, that entrance spot.
And the stunts, are the stunts going to be in the back again on the back of the building where the tracks are?
Unfortunately, no.
Where were you gonna-
We'd like to have them out there, but we have a riding academy class every weekend for people to get their motorcycle license, and that's where the course is. And we just can't afford to lose a class just for one day. So we're going to be doing it in kind of like the side of the front lot. So it'll be a lot smaller of an area, but it's more than enough room that those guys needed. We actually supplied 3 times more space than a stunt team needs out back for last year. So we'll do that.
Because this year, they've added a small restaurant on that property also,
Yeah.
right to the right there.
Yep.
So that's going to take up some parking that you're not going to have as you had before.
Easy Pie, it's not open yet. It won't be open for that event. Going forward in the future, when we have events, it'll pretty much be a whole parking lot party. We have the dentist office come out as a vendor as well, so they have people coming out and walking around. They have a tent to try to get business as well, and we'll be working with Easy Pie as well on events, so that it's kind of like a neighborhood collaboration.
Okay. How many do you expect at these first 2 events? I'm concerned more about your first 2 events that you're going to have now. What are you expecting for a crowd there? I know when I went, you couldn't move. I mean, they were.
That was a once in a lifetime event. That was great. Other than the Halloween Witch Ride and the Boston Wounded Vet Run, those are our 2 biggest events. That grand opening was actually our biggest event turnout-wise. Typically, we don't see those numbers. We'd love to have our whole entire parking lot filled up like that and like those rides, but it's just very difficult unless it's for a big ride and a big cause, or the grand opening was a very special occasion. So that's what brought those numbers. A few hundred people maybe throughout the day coming and going.
So where will people park? Are you going to have a
In our lot.
in your lot?
Yeah.
I know last time, I guess they used the Squire. The Squire was kind of involved in this, and they were parking at the Squire.
Our
And I
employees
think,
parked over at Stop and Shop and the Squire. We're not working with them this year.
and I think, did you also use the Showcase Cinema for parking?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But for these events, we won't have to. We won't have to. We have our front lot, the exterior of the parking lot. I'm going to designate an area for regular customers that just come in their car that day. They had no clue about the event. They're just coming in to kind of shop or pick up parts or whatever. They'll be in the outskirts of the parking lot. In the middle of the parking lot will be for motorcycle parking, and all of our handicap spaces will be open as well.
Okay.
So,
So I guess let me just get back to the beer and wine, because this is what we're looking at now. So who will be taking care of the beer and wine?
our employees.
Your employees? Have they ever done that before?
Yeah, we've been doing it for years. We have the same people. When we were at the old location, any event that we had, we usually, we never had, some events we'd hire like a beer truck or something like that to come. Some events we have tables and a tent set up. We've got the whole system down pat, so. Yeah.
Okay, I have no other questions.
So you said, you noted here, the police detail is not required, is that?
Yeah.
So you plan on, now Sean, what do you think? Is that something not necessary in this situation, or is it?
I don't, who did you speak to that told you you didn't need a police detail?
It was Chris. And so it was Captain Guido. We all spoke in the beginning of last year on some of the events, and just from them knowing our events and our customer base, we've never had a history of any issues. So they said, hey, let's see how this year goes. And if you don't need one, then you don't need one. And if we have any issues going forward, then we'll have to go that route.
All right, I'll speak with the detail officer and we'll come up with a plan, whether they need one or not.
Okay, we want to chat with them, 'cause I-
Yeah, absolutely.
So, sorry? Yeah, are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this event? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none. So I'm not opposed to the events. I mean, I think that your track record speaks for itself. I would table the issue on the detail at this point until we can hear back from Lieutenant Randall. And that's really only because the liquor is being served there. The other issue is I know you've applied for eight events. Thank you. And one of the things that my colleagues are concerned with is we don't know what other events are coming up in the city on those days. For example, the sandcastle events and things like that. But that's why I was asking you questions about how long it would take you to secure, some of these riders and things like that. So I'm comfortable going out to the June 25th date. I mean, we're only really talking about a little over a month from here. So, and the fact that it took you that long to secure those riders. So I think what I'd like to do is have you come back for the other four as you get closer. Now, if you have some time restraints when it comes to performers or something like that, I would ask that you give us a call and just let us know that so we could hear it sooner. I mean, we meet one every third Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
We should be all fine for the third Wednesday of the month. I'll come back again next month in June, and we can go over the last four. We just hit a couple little roadblocks in the planning and scoring of the event, so I figured we'll just solidify these ones because it's today's the day to do that, and then next month.
Excuse me, I can't go along with the four. I know maybe my colleagues can go with four at one time. You said you were going to go before the council for the other four. I don't understand what you meant by that. You said you would go to the council after today.
For these, so I originally applied for the 8 to talk about today, and then there were more details that we needed, whether or not we were going to do beer and wine at some of them, so why get a permit pay for the permit, and then we didn't need it, so to come back for reimbursement, so I figured.
Oh, to come back to the License Commission, okay, I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna go for something else.
No,
The
no, no.
problem I have with the 4 dates is that we don't have the summer calendar yet as to what is gonna take place in the city. And I know we have several events coming up, so I would like to, I mean, this gives you almost 2 months
The
to come
dates,
back.
the dates are the same too, so those dates that you have on there, the other 4 dates, those aren't gonna change.
Right,
The dates aren't gonna change, and I don't think they're not big enough to interfere with any other event that's going on in the city, the Sandcastle event, or anything like that, I don't.
right. Well, until I get that and I see what is going on in the city, I don't think I could go along with the 4 dates at one time. We never give away 4, usually don't vote on 8 one-day licenses at one time. This would be a first for me, and 4 would be a first, 4 one-day liquor licenses. So I personally, I could only go for the first 2 dates, is how I feel, until I get the agenda and I can really see what's going on. And honestly, I'd like to see how your event does go. We do have a new business there. They're applying for a little bit of an expansion there also, so that's my opinion, that's how I feel. I would like to see what's going on in the city. And I know in that area, they are talking about a couple of events, whether they're on the agenda yet or not, I haven't seen it. I don't even think it's out yet.
Yeah.
So, and I've been to your events, I think they're great. They run, the only thing I do have a concern with, the detail, I can't imagine not having a detail there. With what I've seen, and you know, you've got different ways to leave that parking lot. I think it's very important to have detail, but of course, I'll leave that up to Lieutenant Randall. But I don't, at this time, I couldn't vote for 4 dates. But my colleagues may feel differently.
Yeah, I actually do differ a little bit with you, Linda. I think 4 dates is fine. I mean, if something goes awry, the first 1 or 2, then we can come back and have a discussion, or even just pull them for the next 2 dates. And I'm sure if something serious, bad happens, then you probably won't go ahead with those other dates anyway. So I'm okay with the 4 dates, so that's up to you, Chairman.
So, I'm in agreement with actually, I'm in agreement with both my colleagues here.
I won't get hurt if you
I think that there should be a detail based on the fact that alcohol is served. And although the police department, it sounds like, is somewhat comfortable with the event, I'm not. I think I'd be comfortable if you had a detail there. So on that point, I would agree with Commissioner Guanasso. I'd like to take them as they come up as well, but I also recognize that you know, you've made some commitments that took you a while to secure, and so now that you have the proposed date, I think I'd be willing to go the 4-week period. But in the future, I would ask that if you're looking to do events like that and you start talking about it in December, that you come up and sort of give us a heads up as to, you know, what you're planning, so that the commission can make the necessary decisions. Because right now, how I look at it is that you've already got the commitment, and obviously you've been, you know, a good citizen to the city. I mean, I think it's a great improvement to the area. You've run great events. There hasn't been any issues. So I think what I'd like to do is somewhat come up with a compromise between both. I think I would vote on the 4, and then as the other ones come up, I would have you come up and apply for them separately.
Okay.
I have one other question. Obviously, they want to go with the 4 events. You have a live band till 9 o'clock there?
Yeah, 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 that's okay.
25th, yeah.
Sorry? So,
No, you were just saying the dates, he has live bands.
At each
also,
event?
No, not at each Saturday. Right.
Sorry?
No, Saturday night is live bands. Okay, so those bands will go till 9 o'clock at night. What time do we have the other events, live music turned down? Is it 9 o'clock, such as the carnival?
Oh, like the
and
carnival? I
Is
thought the carnival was 10 o'clock.
is it 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you're going to get me hung? It's going to hurt. Okay. How many bands is it anyways? Is it one band or are you having different?
Yeah, yeah.
Just one band? Local?
Yeah, they're local.
Or is it someone we, oh,
Yeah, yeah, they're local. They're a great band, cover band. So they play all kinds of different genres and stuff.
is there a motion on the floor?
There isn't a motion yet.
There isn't.
Not yet, unless you'd like to form a motion.
Well, my motion would be to approve the first two dates. And, well, I'll let the,
So if,
I'll let the,
and then
detail
have,
go on that.
and then have them, I'm sorry? You'll let
well,
the
I was going to
detail
put a motion, no, I was going to put a motion in along with, my motion would be to approve the first two dates with detail, but I guess we'll wait for Lieutenant Randall on that one. So I won't put that in with my motion. I'll leave that up to him. So my motion would be to approve the first two dates.
Okay. And then,
I said, I'm okay with the 4 dates. I'll make a motion if you want, but
You can make a substitute motion if you
I'll
want.
make a substitute motion to approve the 4 dates. And with, and again, I'll work with Lieutenant Randall on the detail.
so let me ask you a question with respect to Commissioner Guanasso's motion. And then after the 2 weeks, and then what do you propose? That
He can come back at our next meeting, and we should have our city agenda. And I just would like to make sure that there's nothing else going on in the city. And truthfully, I would like to see how this goes off.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I don't think there's any harm in it. You're in no rush. You've got your first two dates. And I just would like to see and how much traffic it's going to bring and, you know, and it was great. I've been there. It was great. I had a great time. So I'm not saying anything about it. It was a wonderful time, but I still would like to see what's going on. And again, with the restaurant opening and I would like to just give it time. I just don't have enough information to go for the 4 dates right now.
Okay.
But maybe my colleagues do.
Please. So your actually, I'd like to add a little bit to your motion. So your motion is you're willing to approve the May 28th and the June 4th dates?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your position on the police department? My position on the police detail is that regardless of what the police department says, I'd like to have a detail there.
Well, I'm in favor of a detail, absolutely, but I
So
thought that
will
the
you-
board
Will you
wanted
include
to
that as
leave
part of
it.
your motion?
I will put it past my motion as long as it's okay with Lieutenant Randall, or unless you want to go
Is that all right?
through. That's fine. Okay, then part of my motion would be detail.
All right, so there's a motion on the table that, to approve the 5/28 and 6/4 dates with a detailed officer.
With a detail, and it would be left up to Lieutenant Randall as to how many officers he would think you're going to need. May only need one.
Is that acceptable to you?
Sure. Yeah, we've never been opposed to a detail. We were told last year that let's see how it goes, and we've had over 8 events where typically you'd have a detail, and we never had one. We never needed to have one, and then the events turned out really well. So as I came into planning this year, I didn't include the details because we weren't. But if for this year, if it makes you feel comfortable, we're not opposed to having a detail. We don't mind paying for the detail if we need to. We just never needed one. That's why I'm not.
No, I'm just
That's why
thinking
I
more
haven't
for safety reasons,
Right.
the alcohol, if something happened at the event with the stunt riders, things like that, I'd want some type of emergency personnel there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion on the table is that approval for the dates of 5/28 and 6/4 with detailed offices and the number of detailed offices based upon the police department's recommendation. Is that the motion?
That would be my motion, and he could come back and apply in a month for the next couple of
Okay.
dates.
Is there a second to that motion? I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is NAI Entertainment Holdings doing business as Showcase Cinema Revere Chatters Bar. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
John Grande, 565 Squire Road, Revere.
Great. And this is an application for a change of manager.
Correct.
And will you be the manager?
Yes.
You will. Okay, great. And your experience in the restaurant business?
Yeah, I've been with an employee with National Museum for over 24 years.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and the last 10 I've been at this location, not as the main manager, but the secondary manager.
Excellent. Great. And so nothing is changing in terms of operations at the restaurant?
Correct.
It remains the same?
Right.
You're just assuming?
Yeah,
that-
just a personnel change. The other manager went to a different location, and I'm stepping in.
Great. Any questions from the
No,
commission?
I have no questions. A great restaurant.
I have a request.
Oh, sure.
Unrelated to the restaurant. The sign on, as you come off the highway,
Yep,
you really should have what movies are up on your screen.
we do.
Yeah, not as often as you'd like. You drive by there, you
Oh,
see more
That's-
advertising than you
I
do.
definitely
I
put
am-
more up.
It is very slowly.
It is.
Yeah.
Anyway, aside from that, are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this change? Hearing and seeing none. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 3 is GF Enterprises LLC doing business as Taco Bell. Okay, we'll table that. Item number 4 is La Familia Restaurant, Inc. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Daniel Sorian, 128 Cambridge Street, Charlestown.
Felicita Fuentes, Nicalon Avenue, Everett.
Thank you. And this is an application for a transfer of common victualers? Is that correct? You transferring the license? So, are you?
I am assisting her with all the licensing and permits.
Okay. And she will be the new
She is.
holder of the license?
That's correct.
Okay. And are you also requesting additional seating? Requested
No,
seating
no.
is 24?
The seating is 24.
No? Okay, so everything remains the same?
It remains the same, yeah?
Okay, can you give us some information in terms of experience operating a restaurant?
Sure. Magdalena has been working at Tapatio Restaurant in Broadway, Somerville for 9 years, 6 years. And then she was working at Los Pinos, 227 Revere Street in Revere also,
Yep.
for about 3-4 years. And now she bought her own.
Okay. And this is located at 341 Broadway.
About a half a block
This
away.
is just up the street?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions from the commission? Sorry.
When you say what restaurant did you say you're working at Revere Street?
Los Pinos, L-O-S-P-I-N-O-S.
Okay, I'm not too sure where that is. Is that right
By
by
the St.
Broadway?
Anthony's.
Across from St. Anthony's.
And how long were you there?
3 years.
Okay, because we had little problems there, was some problems there for a while.
She was a cook.
Well, she was a
not the
cook,
owner.
but, you know, I haven't heard anything lately about it, but there were some problems at that location.
So what are, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, that's okay. Just remember.
So what do you anticipate, what are your duties at this restaurant? You're going to manage, are you also going to be doing the cooking, and how is that going to work?
She's spending about 50 hours a week at the restaurant. Her daughter is helping, her sister is helping, and she's got 2 employees. She opens at 6 a.m., closes at 11 p.m. It was a shutdown place that needed to be cleaned up and fixed up, and she's did a great job. We passed all inspections, fire, building, health department. They all love the place. It looks clean, it looks nice, and it's open, and she's created 3 jobs so far.
How many hours did you work at the other restaurant?
¿Cuánto trabajamos en los Pinos? 41, 42 hours.
So you were there most of the time?
Now she's the owner, she's got to work more, yeah.
Okay. I have no other questions.
You serve breakfast?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, yes.
17 hours a day. If you want to do it. I have no questions.
Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve common victual license, restaurant.
Is there a second? Is there a second to that motion? I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
You're all set. Thank you. White Label, doing business as Easy Pie. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Spiros, Stogiannis, 649 Squire Road, Revere.
Great. And you're back for an application for alteration of premises?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell us what you're planning to do?
Oh, I'm requesting permission to utilize the remaining drive-through space in the back of the restaurant for some supplemental seasonal seating during the spring and summer season. It would be accessible from the inside of the restaurant via back door and would be closed off. No one would be able to access it from outside of the restaurant. There would be an egress, though, for emergency situations. So it would just be fenced off. Requesting probably 5 tables, maybe 4 with 5 seats each, so maximum 20 seats outside. It's visible from the inside of the restaurant, from the kitchen. There's an existing drive-through window that you can see the entire area. I've already installed 2 high-definition surveillance cameras on the outside as well. So it's visible from the inside of the restaurant.
And what do you expect your hours to be in that area?
I don't know. It would be the same as the regular dining room hours. I haven't determined exactly what I want them to be. You guys had granted me a 2 a.m. license, but depending on what the business is like and what the trend is like, I wouldn't keep it open unless it was actually busy. So we haven't opened just yet. We're close. The construction's almost done. The only thing is that, the idea came up because the walk-in cooler had been installed, and there's still such a great landscaped space in the back that's not being utilized. So we figured, why not do it now while we're finalizing everything? It really wouldn't be wise for us to shut the operation down and try to fence something off or try to fix something after we're operating.
Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure I would want outdoor, and I'm a proponent of outdoor seating.
Yep.
I mean, I enjoy that myself. I'm not sure if I would agree that to a 2 a.m. closing. I'd probably be more inclined to do something like, I mean, it's not in an area where there's a lot of residential, so that, I mean, that's a big plus, but, you know, I'm thinking maybe, 10 o'clock for now, and then see how it goes.
That's fine.
But,
I wasn't planning on keeping the restaurant open until 2 a.m. all week long anyways. I was thinking more like a Friday and Saturday,
yeah,
where people might opt to stay out that late. Monday through Thursday, the regular hours would probably be till 9:30 or 10 o'clock anyways.
yeah. And I mean, we approved the time frame already, so it's really just the seating area that I'd be concerned with.
Okay.
And I'm not opposed to looking at it later on,
Okay.
if it does well and it's quiet. I'm not opposed to it. But any other questions from the commission on this?
No, I think you asked the question as far as the outdoor seating. Again, I know we've been talking about your place, but again, with that Harley-Davidson, they do have a lot of traffic in and out of that parking lot.
It's behind the property though. It's not anywhere near any traffic. So
Yep.
it's behind the building. It wouldn't be in front of the building where traffic is going in and out. So
So the seating would be the tables are going to be in the back facing the cinema?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very well landscaped area. I mean, they had it like that for the drive-through, but since we're not utilizing it, the first first half is blocked by our walk-in cooler. So that second half is kind of sitting there. It's about 20 feet by 20 feet. It's protected from everything. I mean, you can't even hear the street noise back there because it's blocked. And then directly behind is a big white fence, and behind that's the water, and then there's the movie theater, probably a quarter mile back, if not more.
I would say it would be a big
In the
risk
front,
to
no
have it
way.
in the front.
I can't even walk to my car sometimes. It's people cut through just to beat the light. So I wouldn't even think about putting it in the
Right.
front. There's no space.
No, there isn't.
No,
The
there's no
lot is
space.
not
It's a
that
street.
big.
Right, but right behind the building though, there's a nice area. They would just go to waste if not. And honestly, the restaurant, judging by the area is very busy. A lot of the restaurants in the surrounding area are very busy. I only have 30 seats on the inside. So, one of my concerns was that if in fact Easy Pie is as busy as we are in Braintree or busier, I won't be able to it would be difficult with only 30 seats. So to have a few extra seats in the back seasonally would be wonderful.
I have no other questions.
I have no questions.
Okay.
Have a motion?
I'm gonna give a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the seating in the back until 10 p.m.
Okay.
And I'll agree to the 5 tables and 20 seats. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
MHF Logan Operating 5 LLC, doing business as the Hampton Inn Revere. This is an application for transfer of a hotel parking lot, all alcohol in holder license, and alteration of the premises. Please state your name for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Joe Devlin from the Demarcus Law Offices in Lynn, Massachusetts, and I represent MHF Operating 5 LLC. I'll shorten it for everybody. It's Magna Hospitality, which is an investment, ownership, and operating, hotel operating company out of Rhode Island.
Okay.
With me is Omar Aquino. He's on the transition team. He's actually a transition GM as well. He'll fill in for when if they open up a new place and need someone there. But he's also on the hiring team for the new GM. Jennifer James is an executive at Magna. She's part of the transition team, so she'll be up here a lot because they haven't hired a new GM yet. They've interviewed 25 people so far, just haven't found the right fit for that property out there. They anticipate they will before this license is approved, so I think I'm probably going to be in here like 3 weeks with a change of manager following up with this. But I brought Mr. Aquino here so he can answer some questions because there's some remodeling going on there. It's a brand refurbishment. That's a lot of times, about every 5 to 7 years, the brand name, which is Hilton's Hampton Inn, will require, they'll have a new concept and they'll require require you to come up to those, they'll eventually require all the properties. And that's a lot of times when these properties sell, because they bring in more money to, you know, it's $8.5 million to actually do the work. And the people who had owned it for the last 5 to 10 years, you know, get out of it and get, you know, go buy something else. So that's what's happening here. I actually represent Lincris, which was the prior licensee. It went under SPB sometime. And a lot of times in these transitions, nothing changes. I mean, this one, there is a brand refurbishment. It's gonna look really good from the outside. They're redoing all the rooms, they're redoing the lobby. They have to redo the peak and structure, so they have them before the planning board and the ZBA for the exterior. It's, you know, 95% of the employees usually stay the same too. They sort of go along with it. GMs change, and in this case, the GM will change. Food and beverage director sometimes changes, marketing director sometimes changes. Really what happens is the relationships that they have with travel agencies and booking companies and convention groups, that's what changes in service providers. So other than that, other than the benefit to Revere is it's going to look a lot nicer and be a lot, you know, a brand new, almost modernized hotel. But other than that, it's going to provide the same Hampton Inn service.
And the portfolio of MHF, is that made up of other hotels as well, or is that just general real estate, or?
Other hotels. So Lubert Adler, which is the kind of the giant equity fund that's, they come, sometimes, Magna sometimes does it by itself. Sometimes they partner with somebody because they get on a bigger deal where they have to come up with, you know, $8.5 million to do the refurbishment. Lubert Adler, because of their investment portfolio, gets better terms.
Right.
So they'll bring somebody in on that. But there's, I think, at least 13 hotels where they're owner-operator and they're on the liquor license listed in the application. I think they have additional properties where they're either operator and not on the liquor license, owner and not on the liquor license. So this is a pretty sizable. The 13 are probably ones that they own by themselves.
So this isn't one that's in a fund, this is one where they're actually operating?
Yes. So, and that's the benefit. So I was going to explain that.
Yeah.
You got the brand name, you usually got the property owner, then you've got some lessee in there as well, and then you've got an operations company. In this one, it's all the same, it's Magna, and that's a benefit, other than the brand name.
Yeah.
And that's a benefit as well.
Okay, any questions?
No questions.
No, I have no questions.
Great. Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this establishment? Hearing and seeing none, are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All right, great, thank you very much, appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Item number 7 is Washington Liquors, Inc., doing business as Easy Liquors. This is a hearing concerning police report of selling alcohol to an underage person during a compliance check. Can you please state your name for the record, please?
Bhavin, Patel, 66 Bishop and Sharon.
Great, and you understand the reason why we brought you here today. We want some information in terms of what took place at your establishment, why it happened, what are the controls you're putting in place, and what are you doing to prevent this from happening again in the future?
Well, I was a salesperson that night, and we were very busy. I had help with bagging, and I was running the register, and I gotta say it was an honest mistake. The owner tells us all the time, I'm not gonna make a living out of selling to minors, which I can understand that, we're not. And it was an honest mistake. The minor had a baseball cap on over his eyes. He helped with bag liquor. I rang up with $20 bills, change, and he left. And that was about the size of it.
So what are you going to do going forward to protect yourself from that happening again?
We have a sign on the door right now, checking all IDs, and customers aren't too happy about it.
So you're checking all IDs of all patrons, regardless of age?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a little ID device? Yes.
I'm working on it, I'm talking with this guy, a company called Advance ID
Okay.
out of Boston. And we already in the process, pretty within a few weeks or so, I'll have the system and put it in at the store.
Okay.
I would like to hear from Lieutenant Randall as to what transpired that evening when you entered the establishment.
Yeah, it was our standard thing that we do. We use an underage operative who enters an establishment, attempts to purchase a designated alcoholic beverage, beer usually. He's underage, he carries no ID, offers no ID. He brings the liquor to the counter, he attempts to purchase it. If he purchases it, he brings it outside, provides it to us. We go in and inform the sales personnel that they have sold to a minor. And that's exactly what took place in this case.
Were they cooperative when you?
Yes, yeah, most places are, and we didn't have any problem. We just explained to them and told them that, they'll be contacted by the License Commission.
And again, I must say this.
Thank you.
We're not gonna make a living out of selling to minors. That's not our livelihood.
We haven't had any violation or anything. All these years, we had a lot of stinks. In fact, a couple years back, we even got a compliance certificate saying, there was a sting at such and such date and time, and you guys did appliance, with all the rules and regulation. In fact, I even have a copy in my pocket if you guys would like to see it. But like I said, we don't serve to underage. They just strictly, I told everybody to make sure, check the ID, no matter what. But like you said, he just got busy and he got distracted a little bit, But like I said, I'm talking with this guy, Advance ID, and hopefully within a few weeks, I will have the system put him in at the store as well.
Okay. I mean, it's your license to lose at the end of the day.
I understand.
And
that.
so you're responsible for the operations there. I don't believe you've been in here before.
Right.
I hope not to see you again. I'll make a motion to table this for 60 days. Is that what we did with other establishments? I mean, not table it, but...
I think we table it for a year, and if something happens within the year, we can bring it back.
It was 2 years.
Was it 2 years? Do you recall what that was, Megan? 2 years. 2 years. Okay, 2 years.
That's a long time. So
But
we'll
I
be
believe-
brought back up.
Wasn't 2 years just one establishment?
Yeah.
Was it really? Okay.
I think Woody was the only one.
And that was long?
Short. No, I think it was
Short, I'm sorry, short. Yes.
lifetime.
Sorry.
Well, we can actually do whichever,
Right.
each establishment was treated differently,
Understand.
going by the...
But I also want to be
by the-
consistent with how we've treated other establishments that have been in this situation.
Well, I think that the ones that we see here more often than other got the 2 years. The ones we didn't see, we did give 1 year. But, you're lucky it was a sting. Right. But you're lucky that was a sting. If it wasn't a sting, there's a 17-year-old boy that would have went out there drinking, and God knows what could have happened. So in this case, I'm happy that, you were cited for serving a minor.
And I grew up in this town, I was born here, I grew up in this town, and I don't want to be known as a person selling liquor to minors.
Great, thank you.
Well, appreciate that.
So we're going to table this for a period of 1 year, and if there's any violations between now and then, we'll have you come back here, and then you'd be subject to some type of sanction or penalty.
Hopefully not, we won't come back.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Item number 8 is the Jewelry Box, Inc., 354 Broadway. This is a hearing concerning a police complaint of hindering an investigation into stolen property. Would you please state your name for the address, for the record, please?
Commissioners, good afternoon. James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway, Revere, on behalf of the Jewelry Box. So the Julie Box was summoned before the commission today on a report by a Manchester-by-the-Sea police detective who wrote to the Revere Police Department.
Excuse me one second, Counsel.
I'm sorry?
So, Counsel, the officer who made the complaint is not here today. And based on some testimony from, not testimony, but from Revere police officers, we feel that at this point in time, there's really no further action that we'd like to take with this. So we would just like to dismiss it and move on.
With the licensee's consent.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A late license renewal for 2016 is a common victuals license, Sefer Charlie Pima, doing business as Esposito's Bakery. Is there a motion to approve that license?
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 15th, Wednesday, June 15th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Excuse me,
Oh.
Commissioner. Who was it that didn't show up?
Oh, yeah, good point.
We had one. Do we want to continue that, or? I forget his name.
Yeah, bear with me a second. It was, it's okay. It was Washington Liquors, doing business as Easy Liquors? No, we just did that one.
Taco Bell, is it?
Taco Bell.
Okay, well, Taco Bell did not,
So we'll just table it until they come back.
well, let's just see, what was it?
Okay.
Application of common victular. So he's not licensed now, oh no, it's a transfer.
It's a transfer.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
We'll just table it.
okay. So we'll table that until the next meeting or when they come in to transfer it. Is there a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry?
Next meeting, did you say?
Yes, I did.
Motion to adjourn.
June,
You asked me if there was a motion.
I know that, but
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.